Hello and welcome to The Radical. I'm Christina.
And I'm Nicole. On our podcast, we delve into the roots of metaphysical wisdom.
That's right, Nicole. Our podcast is all about exploring those fundamental truths and practices that nourish your mind, body, and spirit.
Yes, Christina, we want to make metaphysical concepts easy to understand and accessible, especially for those who don't have a ton of time to do all the research.
Right? We'll do the research as well as share our experiences and perspectives, hoping to empower you, our listener, to find balance and magic in your day-to-day.
Inspired by the essence of the word radical, proceeding from the root, let's explore the roots of well-being and self-healing together.
This is The Radical with Christina and Nicole, two metaphysical girls in the material world.
Hello and welcome to The Radical. I'm Nicole.
And I'm Christina.
Today we are talking about luck. This was Christina's idea, and I'm really excited. Our recent conversation about Chinese astrology inspired this topic. And when I opened our notes page, I noticed at the top, Christina added a quote by the Roman philosopher Seneca. Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity.
Yes, I've heard that so many times. And when it was quoted, I was like, I just cut and pasted it and put it on there. I'm like, we're going to use that.
Yes. And I feel that Chinese astrology very much ties into this idea. Our inspiration for this episode ties into this perfectly, because if you remember from that episode, there's an idea in Chinese astrology that our natal chart is responsible for about 1/3 of our life's unfolding. And then our elementals and how we harmonize the elements in our natal chart, that in combination with luck and life happenings, all those two, and how we kind of let them come together. It's this preparation meeting opportunity. And that's what luck is all about.
Yes, it's a state of mind. Luck is a state of mind. When we did the episode on Baza, it was the first time I heard 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. And Nicole and I were chatting before she hit record, and I was like, I don't know exactly how you said it, but how it coalesced in my brain is that it's 1/3 birth chart, 1/3 experience, and then 1/3 luck. And that is very broad, listeners. That is very broad. But it was like a light bulb went off in my brain, and I suddenly understood how I've been trying to classify how you get to your life's purpose. Because you can't just sit in your house. You have to go out in the world. But also, we have other factors happening in the universe that affect us and our ability to be in the right place when the right thing happens. But guess what, listeners? We have to be open to seeing that opportunity. It's not just luck. It's a combination of all the things.
Yes, exactly. So Christina has some information for us in the first segment. And then in segment 2, I'm going to dive into the neuroscience of luck. Christina nailed it. She said, luck is a mindset. From a neuroscience perspective, this is an absolute yes. So we'll dive into that, and we'll wrap up with our 3 messages from the universe. I'm using my postcards from the liminal space oracle deck today.
Those are so fun. All right, for my list, define. I even have I say this word wrong. I say entomology, but it's entomology, not etymology.
I think it's etymology. There's no N. Yes.
Because we have closed captioning. When when I'm editing, it'll have me writing down the study of bugs instead of the study of word beginnings of like root words. I'm trying to say it right, listeners. But anyway, luck itself as an English word has its history in a Middle Dutch language root, luc, L-U-C, which is shortened from geluk, happiness or good fortune. That is where the word luck as it came to us. And the dictionary says luck is success or failure apparently brought by chance rather through one's own actions. That's one. And then the second one, chance considered as a force that causes good or bad things to happen. And then the third, something regarded as bringing about or portending good or bad things. That is the dictionary definition of luck. And it already brings up other words that make us curious, like what does chance mean? What does portend mean? But what is the definition of good and bad? I think Nicole and I have talked about that many times. But that's the dictionary definition. But I found on the internet in a paper published in Developmental Psychology, psychology professor Jacqueline D. Woolley from the University of Texas defined luck in 3 ways. Once again, 1, a supernatural event. 2, an explanation people use to make sense of certain events. And 3, a personal attribute one has within themselves. I resonate with Professor Woolley's definitions a little bit more than the dictionary definitions. There's just a few examples of people trying to define what is luck. But basically, luck is a belief that chance and opportunity play a role in events that happen to us. It can refer to bad fortune or to the or good or bad fortune or the circumstances that affect a person. Luck is the idea that events happen by chance or, now you can fate. I don't like using the word fate here because fate to me is predetermined, and I don't like using karma because that is a different concept to me. To me, luck and chance go together, not luck and fate or luck and karma. Does that make sense, Nicole?
It does. And I'm trying to think how I feel about that.
Yeah. Well, I'll keep going, and then you have time to kind of let that stew a little bit. But other articles I read were using different words in place of chance, and I was like, that's not resonating with me. We all can take a moment to think about what we actually think is an arbitrary action by the universe, because I don't think fate is arbitrary, and I don't think karma is arbitrary. Am I using the word arbitrary right?
I think so.
Why am I all about language right now?
I think if we go back to our kind of 1/3, 1/3, 1/3
Yes.
framework, I think our 1/3, that is our natal chart, would house more so our karma and our fate.
Yes,
and
that's
then,
it.
And then luck and experience and how those two interact make up the other 2/3. I don't think fate and karma live there.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you, Nicole, for helping me organize my thoughts. We talked about chance. There's some other concepts kind of inside the concept of luck. And I have a few of them just written down just to kind of get your brain interested in this. We already discussed chance. Luck can be a result of random events, such as being in the right place at the right time. But also, preparation can fall under luck. Sometimes what we think is luck is actually the result of hard work and preparation. I believe that. Especially somebody seeing your life from the outside, they might say that you're really lucky that you bought a new home, but they don't see the work and the preparation that you put in behind it. So, and then there's the supernatural. Some believe that luck is an attribute of a person or an object, the result of a deity's favor. We talked about agency being attributed to things. We talked about crystals and lucky objects and things like that, but supernatural plays a part in luck. And then superstitions. We did a whole podcast on superstitions and superstitions related to luck. Again, lucky charms and sometimes associated with deities. Then we have opportunity. Luck can involve being open to new experiences and putting ourselves out there to increase our opportunities. Now, I'm not saying lucky things can't happen to you on your couch, but if they're not happening, you might need to do a shift and go out and look for different opportunities. And then probability. Nicole and I were chatting just yesterday, and I had this quote that I read about playing the lottery, and I found it. I found who said it, and then I found the stats behind it. But probability is a scientific side to luck that involves principles, math, and psychology. And we talked about this in superstition, and I think, Nicole, are you touching on that in your bit? Maybe, but I just want to say two things about probability. It's like playing the lottery. You think the odds like if you want to win the lottery, you play more and you play more often. But the odds in any lottery are about 1 in 300 million. 1 in 300 million. So the odds of a clerical error happening and you winning the lottery without buying a ticket or somebody got your name wrong or something are just about the same as if you bought a ticket and winning. And the person who said, I figure your odds of winning the lottery are the same whether you buy a ticket or whether you don't, was Fran Lebowitz on the David Letterman show. And that resonated with me so deeply. I was like, yeah. So probability. It is from our point of view. It is not always a mathematical reality. What we think makes something more probable, I guess is what I want to say about that. But that is all I'm saying about those subclasses. I want to talk about Richard Weissman, who wrote a book about luck. He's a psychology professor at the University of Hertfordshire, and he has a luck school. I read like 3 articles about this person, and he's quoted as saying, I think a big part of that, not all of it, but a big part of it is the way in which they're thinking and where they are behaving. That was in a conversation with Weissman in the PBS NewsHour, talking about the personal attributes. He believes that luck is a state of mind. So it's what you're thinking and how you're behaving that can help make you lucky or unlucky. He wrote a book and he did some studies that people who believe lucky things happen to them tend to fare better than people who feel unlucky. In his luck school, 4 principles. 1, look for and jump on opportunities. You might do some changes to your daily routine, and he said be flexible. 2, follow your gut. We love this one. Nicole and I are always talking about follow your intuition. 3, expect good things. Keep a positive attitude. This is like the law of attraction. And then 4, find ways to turn bad luck into good. Find the lessons in what didn't turn out your way. So that is how you change your luck, according to Professor Weissman.
This is going to sound really familiar when we get to segment 2.
Oh, I love it because it's a state of mind, right?
I really like expect good things to happen.
Mm-hmm.
This is a good preview of the neuroscience of luck.
And I didn't dive deep into, I got caught up in words and what they meant and everything, but I was like, I'm going to stay focused on the how. This is how it happens. Now, Nicole's going to tell you why as soon as I finish this last bit of of segment 1. So luck in astrology. luck and astrology. In astrology, and this is compiled from a few different articles I read on the internet, and a little bit of my 2 cents sprinkled in here and there. In astrology, luck is believed to be influenced by zodiac signs and planets and phases of the moon. Now, this is some like this. This was information that I got based on. It was just open source search. So just take it with a grain of salt, listeners, as you're listening to this, and then apply your experiences to it. Zodiac signs associated with luck are Aquarius. Optimistic and independent, Aquarians are said to attract achievement and opportunity. Leo, enthusiastic Leos are said to inspire others. Taurus, stable Tauruses said to offer good fortune and lasting luck. Pisces, which was classically ruled by Jupiter, so that's the tie-in there. Now Pisces is ruled by Neptune, but intuitive Pisces are said to be in the right place at the right time. And we're in Pisces season right now, so I'm taking that to heart right there, to put myself in the right place at the right time. And Libra, diplomatic Libras are said to bring balance and harmony into relationships. And then Sagittarius, which is governed by Jupiter, the planet of good fortune. Sagittarians are said to be lucky, just general. Those are the signs. The 9th house is ruled by Jupiter. That makes it the house of luck, and that covers travel, higher education, and expanding worldview. So take a look at your birth charts and see what's happening in your 9th house, and look at it through the lens of luck, opportunity, changing your mindset, expecting good things to happen. But luck may come to you when you step outside your comfort zone and open yourself up to new experiences and philosophies. That tends to be a theme in everything that I read about luck, was putting yourself in places to accept opportunity and being open to opportunities. And the more you explore, whether physically through travel or mentally through study, the more opportunities may come your way. And then we're going to talk about Jupiter. I'm all about Jupiter. Jupiter is in Gemini right now, and Gemini is my sun sign and my ascent. I might be just totally feeling this right now, but Jupiter came into Gemini on the 19th of February, 2025. It's in direct motion. It just left a retrograde at the beginning of February. That also might be a shift. Jupiter was retrograde, now it's direct, so maybe I'm feeling it a lot more clearly. Jupiter in Gemini can inspire external expression, bring a period of expansion, luck, and blessings, particularly to areas ruled by Gemini, such as communication, travel, and social media, or just really any kind of media, any kind of communication. But Jupiter is said to be the primary cosmic influence of luck and favorable outcomes. And the Jupiter transit is a 12-year cycle. We talked about this in a couple different podcasts. I've been talking about Jupiter, I feel like, for weeks now, but the 12-year return. So 12 years, when you're 12 years old, 24 years old, 36, 48, 60, 72, you just keep adding 12, 84, 96, that in that 12-year return, it's an opportunity for some, if you put yourself in the right place and the right experiences, renewal, expansion, bold action, basically just harness the energy of Jupiter returning into that moment, into that place that you were born, and just, kind of see what you want to do. But it's very powerful. Okay, that's Jupiter. Have you heard of the full moon being lucky and the new moon being lucky? I didn't associate luck with any of the moon phases, but I saw that, and I wasn't going to put it in there, and then I added it, and then I was like, well, let's see how this affects us. But I have never thought about that. Maybe the full moon with luck. But I don't know. Listeners, if you have any experience with this, email us and tell us if you know of a moon phase that is more lucky than others. Crystals. what is lucky? Wearing your birthstone. Are you a fan of birthstones? I was all about birthstones when I was a young person.
I remember having a birthstone ring when I was
Yeah.
a little kid. Yeah.
Birthstones, maybe they were more popular at a different time and age, but those crystals, those stones are tied to those birth months, and they have significant historical and value, and kind of following the seasons of the year. If you're kind of in a stuck place, go look up your birthstone and maybe see if that brings you a little luck or brings you a little inspiration. And then numbers, numerology. We need to do a whole podcast on numerology, but find the lucky numbers for your zodiac sign and start using those numbers. See if that adds a little spark or a little bit of inspiration as well into your planning and into your daily lives. So, crystals, numbers. I did not find, there was another thing about the zodiac signs having lucky directions. I did not find a chart for this, Nicole. I'm so sorry. I looked and then I kind of got distracted by something else, and maybe I'll find it, but there's lucky everything, lucky colors. I didn't even look up colors, but there are numbers and colors and crystals and animals and herbs and foods associated with all the zodiac signs that are considered lucky, or that will help you get in the right frame of mind, or like align your elements and bring you into your zodiac sign balance. That could help you be in the right place at the right time.
Yes.
That's just a little touch. That's just a little touch about luck and astrology. And then a little bit of definition and a little bit of how to. And I had so much fun putting this together. We could talk about it. I could talk about all these other aspects of luck. But really, what makes us lucky, I believe, is what we think.
I found a quote by a man named Ernest Holmes, and it says, "Life is a mirror and will reflect back to the thinker what he thinks into it."
Yes. Yes. I believe it. This is what our podcast is all about, metaphysics. Our minds create our reality.
The neuroscience of luck. There is a part of our brain called the reticular activating system. And that's what segment 2 is going to really focus on. I first heard of the reticular activating system during a YouTube video I was watching with affirmations, and the video was called Lucky Girl Syndrome Affirmations.
To see it?
So when Christina mentioned this topic, I went back and listened to the beginning, the intro of this video.
Nice.
And that's where I heard reticular activating system for the first time. You'll also maybe hear it called the RAS, R-A-S.
Okay.
What it is, physically, anatomically, is a network of neurons in your brainstem. It's about the size of your pinky finger. It's about 2 inches long and the thickness of a pencil. It serves as a filter between your conscious mind and your subconscious mind. More specifically, the RAS takes instructions from your conscious mind and passes those instructions onto your subconscious mind. And I had to do a double read. Yes, what you think about and focus on in your conscious mind is then what seeps down into your subconscious mind. And the way this works is then things start to resurface in the future via our observations and via the RAS and what the RAS lets pass into our conscious mind. The RAS is also responsible for our wakefulness, our ability to focus, our fight-flight response, and ultimately how we perceive the world. The RAS plays a crucial role in filtering and influencing sensory information. It basically controls what we perceive in our conscious mind, aka what we pay attention to. So it's effectively our gatekeeper of information. And because it's tied to our fight or flight system, what's sort of happening in the RAS is necessary information passes through while unnecessary information is held back. Necessary information being things like, are we currently safe? Are we under some kind of threat? Unnecessary information may be familiar sounds that are pretty much always in the background of your home. It is estimated that the reticular activating system filters out about 99% of incoming sensory information.
My gosh.
So only 1% is considered relevant and actually reaches our conscious awareness. And this is a necessary filtering. It's kind of crucial to our functioning as a human. Otherwise, we would be completely inundated and overwhelmed with just tons of information all the time. A couple other ways that the RAS determines what is necessary or unnecessary. Personal relevance. So let's say you're in like a noisy restaurant and you hear your name. Personal relevance. Repetitive focus. So for example, when I was in Vancouver, I was out taking a walk and I saw this bright blue car, like a color car that was really unique. Paid particular attention to it. The color was really striking to me. And then every day for a week, I saw that color car.
That's how it happens.
And then another way that the RAS prioritizes incoming information is our personal strong emotions or beliefs. So let's say you believe you're socially awkward. That's a narrative you have in your mind. You and your RAS will filter in to your conscious mind awareness when you're speaking to somebody and there's pauses in the conversation, say, that sort of highlight, oh no, our conversation, we have a moment of silence, our conversation's derailing, I'm socially awkward. And because of that strong belief that you have, when conversations go smoothly and they're engaging and there's laughter, you tend to filter out those experiences because they don't fit with your belief.
Yep.
I read it's like tuning a radio station. Your RAS filters the world based on what you expect to hear or have happen.
I feel like I said something like this in the superstition podcast, that our brains selectively remember what validates our beliefs. So
exactly.
So this is the mechanism of how that happens.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a scientific fact of how our memory works. Yeah.
Yes. And how self-fulfilling prophecies work. And why, if you are somebody who does believe in superstitions and you have quote unquote evidence of it, it's because of this mechanism, like Christina said. And then all the times the superstition or the lucky charm doesn't work, we tend to easily dismiss that. This idea also ties into the concept of the law of assumption, slightly different than the law of attraction. The law of assumption says if you consistently assume something to be true, your reticular activating system will filter your reality in such a way that that belief gets reinforced.
Our brains are so powerful.
And you can train your brain to do this. This is the idea of luck is a mindset. So through focused intention, you can train your reticular activating system to filter in information that is pertinent to what you are seeking, be it joy, financial abundance, other positive things in your life, things just working out for you, serendipity, magic, success, love. And earlier, Christina mentioned expecting things to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I read a bit that said to engage the law of assumption and to train our reticular activating system, instead of saying we want something or we hope something will happen, using more commanding language like I intend or I assume or I expect sets that tone.
Mm.
And that's exactly how we start training our brain to become lucky. We've talked about this notion before too. If you want something, if you want $1 million, if you want a loving relationship, you start assuming and acting like you already have that thing. We've talked about before many times in many episodes, but the woman who has, the future version of me that has $1 million, for example, how does she drink her coffee? What is her morning routine? How does she solve problems? How does she handle stress? What food does she eat? What pajamas does she wear? If you want a loving relationship, how would that make you feel? What thoughts would you think? How would you drink your coffee if you had the man or the woman of your dreams?
Yeah.
And when you start assuming and expecting and intending and living like it's already reality, that's that trickle down effect, right? It has to start in our conscious mind.
Mm-hmm.
And then it seeps down into our subconscious. Then our external reality shifts to match those intentions, expectations, and assumptions. Over time, your conscious thoughts influence your subconscious mind, your actions, and your energy, and then external circumstances align to match it. This is the law of assumption and the neuroscience behind luck.
You can make yourself lucky.
Yes. There's a teacher named Neville Goddard. I have not listened to a lot of his talks or read any of his books, but his name came up in relation to the law of assumption. So if this is really speaking to you, you could get on YouTube or Google and put in the name Neville Goddard. And a lot of his teachings are on the law of assumption. And it sounds really similar to the law of attraction.
Mm-hmm.
I really do think they're more similar than they are different. One of the big differences I noticed was in the law of assumption, there's an emphasis on that embodiment. So acting as if, thinking as if, feeling as if you already have the thing. And in the law of attraction, you are sort of climbing the energetic ladder and making yourself a magnet. You're magnetizing yourself by essentially working on your energetics to attract the thing. And I say, why not do both?
Right? I see the law of attraction, well, in my mind, because the things that I want to attract, I want more of something I already have. Money, okay? No, I mean, that's just an example. So money. So the money you have, you take care of it in a way that it already equals the amount that you wish you had. So that you are being so grateful and so mindful and so careful with what you have that it's going to attract more. And then this one, the law of assumptions, is similar to that in my mind, because you're already believing that it's true and you're acting like you already have it.
Right. And the feelings behind wanting something usually are we want some kind of security, peace, or joy or love. And if we remember the Law of Attraction episode, when I was talking about the map of consciousness by Dr. David Hawkins, those are all higher vibrational states of being. So really, I think these laws really complement each other and are sort of two sides of the same coin.
Oh, and the other thing too, I know for me and for you, Nicole, and probably some of our listeners or all of our listeners, if you are thinking about, and I'll use money again because that is something that I've been working on for the past couple of years, is that does money come out of thin air? Okay, so that's the first thing, is that there's nowhere for this money to come from. So it doesn't matter what I do with the $20 I have. Do you know what I mean? It's hard to break out of that mentality that money just doesn't come from nowhere. And that when you're in a state of scarcity mindset, and the stress that creates, it's hard to like think past it or to look past it. And here's the thing, is that I was there. I couldn't solve my own problems because I couldn't undo the mindset that I was in to see the opportunities that I had to help begin to solve my monetary issues. That there were ways that I could combine accounts, cancel accounts, you know, I doing anything with money makes me anxious and I don't want to do anything wrong. And I'm just like, just leave it alone. It's worked for this long. Let's not change it. But here's the thing. Sometimes you have to change it. You have to go to the bank and sign those papers and ask a bunch of questions and refinance and, like all that stuff, I think, I mean, it makes me anxious. I'm sure other people, but here's the thing, that there's opportunities out there. But when we're in this mindset of being trapped and powerless, we can't see them. The money that helped me solve the problems that I've had, that I want to fix over the next 2 years, was always available to me. I just couldn't see it because I was too focused on holding on or being a scarcity mindset. I couldn't even think about or explore or think about options or ask for help, or you know what I'm saying? Like, I told this story to I just visited my mom the other day, and I was talking about, you just go into a bank and you can you could just tell them I want more money. And they'll give you options. Now, not all of them might work for you, but you can go into a bank and say, I need money. I need to replace my roof. What do you got? What do you have for me? Sometimes it starts with asking for help or educating yourself, but you can't do that until you're ready to believe that it's possible.
There's a quote, you can't solve a problem with the same thinking that created it.
Yes.
And you can't solve the problem if you stay in the same thinking where, I have a pretty solid history of doing this, staying in the same ruminating thinking and sort of going around in circles.
Yes.
And there is an element of, I think, kind of surrendering, kind of letting go. Because another aspect, I think, of luck is an acknowledgement that we humans don't have all the information in terms of what's possible.
We don't.
And money might not come from thin air, but I have gotten random checks in the mail. For example, a couple years ago when there was that big airbag recall and repair with many different makes and models of cars. I checked my mail one day and I had a check for $750 that I wasn't even expecting.
Yeah.
And when we switch our mindset and we use the laws of assumption and attraction, and we climb out of those lower energetics into gratitude for what we have, or trust in the possibility that we don't have the wherewithal to even know what those possibilities are, things start to shift.
Yeah. I experienced it. I have experienced it over the past 3 years. Yeah. Yeah. And it's not easy. It's so simple. So simple, but is it easy to believe that you're lucky? Is it easy to change your mindset, to make a plan, and to write down your literal dreams? Now I feel like we're talking about the law of attraction because we just did this one. That like you just write down your dreams, but you write down, the luck. And I know luck played a part in a health issue I was working on that required a lot of paperwork and a lot of doctor's appointments and a lot of work I had to do. But at some point, everything that I could do was done, and the paperwork was on its way to whomever would look at it. And I remember just thinking and hoping that I hope it lands in the hands of the person or the right person at the right time. I know there was an element in luck. I know there was.
Well, you let go.
Yes.
There's that element of surrender. It is out of my hands.
Yes, I did everything I could. And then I'm just hoping and meditating and sending my good intentions that paperwork will find the right person at the right time on the right day.
Yeah, that sounds like the law of assumption.
Yeah. And I believe that it would happen.
Yes.
But here's the thing. If it didn't happen, I would have done it again. I mean, we've all done that, right? You resubmit it and then you resubmit it again and then it gets rejected and then you work on it and then you refine it and you whatever you're doing, whatever you're asking for, and you just ask again and then you just keep doing it.
I did write down a Neville Goddard quote that I came across during my research, and it says, "The great secret is a controlled imagination and a well-sustained attention firmly and repeatedly focused on the feeling of the wish fulfilled until it fills the mind and crowds all other ideas out of consciousness."
Yes.
So it's like what Christina said. You let go, you send positive intentions, you sustain a vision, your attention firmly and repeatedly on this will land in capable hands and it will work out. The feeling of that, what would that feel like for that paperwork to go through? How much ease can I let myself feel now in trusting it will unfold in that way? And then you crowd out the doubt and the what ifs, it might end up in somebody who hasn't been working there a long time, and somebody could misspell my last name, and then somebody could accidentally lose a page. You crowd all other ideas out of consciousness and you focus only on what you want, expect, assume, and intend to happen, and the feeling behind it, and that seeps into your subconscious. And this is neuroscience. This isn't, this is metaphysical, but this is documented neuroscience. scientific research repeatedly demonstrated this is the law of assumption. It can be no other way.
And I want to touch back on the part that I talked about with Professor Weissman and his school of luck and his 4 principles to look for and jump on opportunities. And the one thing that he mentioned was small changes or big changes to your daily routine. To continue to do the same thing over and over again and expecting different results, or that was like me and my money. Well, I've always done it this way, but I want something different to happen. You have to get to a place in your brain where you can think about a different possibility, whether that's a different route to work, a different structure to your day, a different time, like think about small or big things that you can do to change your daily routine, to help you see things in a different way so that you can see the opportunities that you couldn't see before, right? And sometimes that's travel, sometimes that is, moving, sometimes it is, instead of walking, I'm going to drive, instead of driving, I'm going to walk, I'm going to start cycling, I'm going to get a dog, and now I spend all this time outside. Like that, there are ways. Okay, so look for, jump on opportunities, follow your intuition, expect good things, which is what we've been talking about for the past 5 minutes. And then 4, find ways to turn bad luck into good. If my packet had been declined and sent back to me, I would have went through the whole thing and learned more about what I needed to do to get it right, or to make it to put it in a different way, to pass on the information that I needed to pass on to the people that I was asking for help with. Do you know what I mean? Take the bad. Don't just throw it away and say it's not going to happen for me. Learn from it. So we're looking for opportunities, we're following our intuition, we're expecting good things to happen, and we are turning bad luck into good. That's how you do it.
And what Christina said about making small changes to your daily routine made me think about a quote. You have to put yourself in the way of serendipity. And that's really in line with everything we've been saying in this episode today. But, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result.
That's what I couldn't get out. I was like, there's more to that. Once again, Nicole has completed my thought process.
But let's say you are looking for romantic love, and you're in your daily routine of, I drive to work this way, I go to this coffee shop. Well, shake it up and let some new energies flow in. Maybe start going to a different coffee shop and putting yourself in the way of different people. If we're going to modify that quote, put yourself in the way of serendipity, put yourself in the way of new experiences and the potential to meet new people. If you like to read, take your book to a park if you want to meet somebody instead of reading at home.
Yeah. Well,
shake up the energy, shake up your norms, and broaden your horizons a little bit.
And if you've already been living like you have your ideal partner, and what that means to you is you're taking care of yourself, you have the room in your house, you have free time so that you can spend time with somebody else, like you're already living like that partner is part of your life, and then you go to the park instead of the coffee shop or vice versa, and then that person is there, then we're in what Seneca said. Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. We do have to do our part.
Yes.
So when you meet that person, you have the ability to have that relationship.
Yeah.
If you are living in a space in a way that you want it, but you don't have your weekends free, whatever it might be, whatever it might be. You want it, but you don't have a life where you could actually have that relationship.
Your work starts there.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how many people you meet. It doesn't matter how many parks you walk through. Preparation meets opportunity. And then we get lucky. Then we win the lottery.
There you go. So I have 3 cards.
Yes.
All ready to go from postcards from the liminal space. So choose card 1, 2, or 3. And our first card, Tribe of Dreams. The byproduct of healthy interdependence. A cohabitation so successful that physical forms can be transcended to allow for a simultaneous exploration of the higher self's master plan. Some assembly required. I hear luck in that.
Mm-hmm.
Card 2, Yield to Reality. The flashing high beams of a friendly driver alerting you to exercise caution ahead. If you find reality too melty to grasp, return to a golden rule or universal truth, or simply slow down or pull over altogether. Where are you going anyway?
I love that card.
Yeah.
That just really spoke to me very clearly.
Me too.
Where are you going anyway? I love that. Where are you going anyway? That.
Card 3, Invisibility Mode. In periods of recovery or extreme vulnerability, one may temporarily disappear as a means of self-protection. This feature allows for expedited healing as well as privacy. If not self-induced, it is possible this is a spell.
All right. Thank you, universe. Those are good cards to think about after we just had a discussion about how luck is a state of mind. It's a lot to chew on.
Yes. Thank you so much, listeners. And thank you, universe, for our messages. I feel like I need to go journal.
Yes. I need to stare out my window and think. You journal. I think. I need to let my brain ruminate. It's just like when you really allow yourself to believe, anything is possible. Because it is, listeners. It is. So let's think about that together. So until next time.
And next time is Aries. A real woman makes her own luck.
I love that phrase. We're going to have so much fun with that one.
Until then, be good to each other. We love you. Thank you for listening.
Take care. Bye.
Bye. Thank you for listening to this episode of The Radical. The Radical is written and produced by Nicole and Christina.
Listener questions can be emailed to us at theradicalpodnc@gmail.com.
Our Instagram is theradicalpod.
Music by Van Horton. His Instagram is Van Horton Music.